Keep disruptions outside of you, and you will create. I believe our greatest creativity can flow from the greatest disruptions of our life. Creating out of disruption is our topic, and in the last video, I discussed 3 levels of disruption: gentle disruptions, harsher disruptions, and colossal disruptions. And I've experienced this. In fact, my book, The Next Level Entrepreneur, came out of a colossal disruption in my own life. Now, this was about 8 years ago when I started writing it. And honestly, this may be the most creative thing I've ever done, which is stunning. It's not what you think. It's like the opposite of what you expect would happen. But disruptions happen all the time to us. 2.5 years ago, I was surprised by a disruption that I'm going to say was almost a harsh disruption, somewhere between gentle and harsh that leans to harsh. My youngest son, graduated from college. That's normal, right? But here's the unexpected thing. So, flashback. As a dad of 2 sons, you work to get them through elementary school and on into high school and college, and there's all these life events you're fathering them through and things like that. And then boom, he graduates. That was unexpectedly disruptive. I knew he was going to graduate, but the disruption that came with that, and that began something new. One, it changed my role. I began to say, I've got to create my role as a different role now because the old ways are done. But I also began to create a new direction for me in all of that. And that led me to launching Live Truly Free last year, which was disruptive because it was, again, that disruption, it's harsh to gentle, but it still was abrupt. I stopped doing the way I had been doing business for 25 plus years and started doing it a new way. And that's the adventure I'm on right now. And here's the thing. Typically, we don't choose disruptions, okay? They're like a tornado that just sweep in. Take this year, for example. I think 2020 is a year of disruptions. I mean, we've had pandemics, we've had riots, the election. I mean, it's just been crazy. But here's what I want you to know. We have a choice whether we let the disruptions into our life or not. Let me go back to the colossal disruption in my life. I began to figure out how to push the disruption out of my life, and a peace began to come into me, a calmness. And it was in that I was able to begin to create and actually write this book. And then the creativity really helps strengthen you to keep the disruptions outside of you. Meanwhile, there's still the disruption and it's raging all around me. So it's kind of like, imagine a tornado, still around, but it's not touching me. It's not affecting me on the inside. So I want to share with you some ways that I've let disruptions come in. Because if you know how you're letting them in, you can start keeping them out. And that's the good news about all of this, is that we do have this choice. So one way I let disruptions in is by tuning into the chaos in the world. And it just takes over, right? And your brain starts thinking about all those things. Here's another one. In relationships, gossip and triangulation. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you know what that exactly is talking about, but imagine a triangle, right? And there's a person in each corner of the triangle. And so I talk to him about her, and she talks to him about me, and he talks to me about her, and you get it? I mean, it's this whole, oh my gosh, it is so disruptive. And your brain starts wrapping around that, and it's just inviting all that disruption in. Another one, clutter. Oh my gosh. So I've lately been doing some research on clutter. And I'm doing this research and I look over at this counter that is just covered in clutter because it's the clutter counter. It's where you put stuff and you don't know where to put it. The problem is I never take the clutter off the counter. So it's just kind of clutter upon clutter. It's like an archaeological dig, to figure out what's underneath there. Here's the fascinating thing. They say that this clutter is disruptive because it shuts down our creativity. So you get the clutter out and you create more. Really? Wow. I'll let you know how that goes. I'm still working on that. Here's a weird category, entertainment that agitates me. So we've all, there's the movie or the TV series or whatever and getting rave reviews. Our friends are saying, oh, you must watch this. And I've done this. And you turn it on and you're all excited. It's great story or great actors and, all that. And there's just something about it that's just like not fitting right. It's like agitating. It's like, you're getting all tense or whatever. Shut it off. Just turn it off. Because here's what's going on. It may not be the right time for you. It may be the whole wrong genre. Who knows? Here's the common characteristic of all these things is they steal my peace. They steal the calmness that's inside of me. So here's something I've learned over the years, that if I stop one thing, I better start something else and replace it, because I will either choose, not consciously, but just kind of choose something that comes in, or it may choose me. So in tuning out the chaos, one of the things I started choosing really intentionally, because I could feel that void, I started listening to books and I started listening to selected podcasts, really selected podcasts, because I didn't want podcasts that were going to still bring the chaos of the world in. I wanted podcasts that were going to speak to a topic. I've also been doing a lot of online courses and learning things and things like that. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, it's so much better than the chaos of the world. Okay. Here's a good one. And I started this like over a year ago, maybe 2 now. I started reading books, actual books, kind of like this book. This would be a great book to start reading, by the way. But I do it at night. It's part of my routine to kind of wind down the day. And I just read a few pages a night, and they're books I really, really enjoy. Books of story or history or biographies. I love that kind of stuff. And if I start reading a book, I'm just like, it's like that entertainment stuff. I don't read it. I want a book that's going to have peace. It's going to bring a calmness. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm getting outside more and running. That is really restorative. Eating healthy, trying not to stay up too late, are all ways to push the disruption out. Now, these are for me, okay? But I'm just trying to trigger ideas for you guys. Choosing healthy relationships, right? So it doesn't mean I don't associate with people that kind of are prickly or whatever. It's just that I want to dial into, if there's a disruption going on, I want to dial into relationships that are healthy. And honestly, in the colossal disruption, that was one of my real ways of getting through really strong, healthy relationships. This is a big category for me, and that's spending time journaling, meditating and prayer. That whole piece is very centering. I'd like to suggest one thing for you to do as an experiment. Choose to stop or uninvite one disrupting thing in your life. And look, we're not talking colossal disruptions here, okay? You can't uninvite a colossal disruption like a tornado, but you can uninvite clutter, all right? Or something like that. So choose to stop or uninvite one disrupting thing in your life and start doing one peaceful, producing thing in your life. So let me just kind of summarize all this and tell you the results you can expect. First of all, you're going to get a lot more clarity about the disruption. So as the peace comes in, as the calmness comes in, you start to see the lay of the land of this disruption and what's really going on for you. When that starts to happen, your internal disruption is decreasing and the peace or calmness is starting to rise. And that's when the creativity will begin to flow. And it doesn't flow like full force. It's like a little trickle at first and then it just gets bigger and stronger. And you start to just sense more creativity and honestly, more encouragement, more inspiration, more joy. It's just a lot of positive stuff starts to flow. Now, you may be asking, well, what do I do with the disruptions that get inside or that are already inside and are wreaking havoc in me? Or like the colossal disruption like I described that just kind of blows through the door. It's uninvited. It's like a tornado. I didn't invite the tornado and it blew everything away. That's going to need some healing, okay, to be honest. And we're going to get into that in the next video. And you're going to find some real help with that. So in the meantime, look, if you'd like to chat with me briefly about this, I'd love to do that. There's a link you can click below for that. Also, I'd love to hear your ideas, comments, questions, because that's going to help feed this series a little bit. So leave those in the comment section and please subscribe to this channel and ring the bell so that you get notifications the next time I release a video. Now, go live truly free.